there's things that you do in your life that you don't ever think you have an opportunity to do it. And then you do it, and you're like, man, this is even better than I thought. Like, that was the thing.
Constructing your life is about much more than just building a bank account. Each week, join mindset coach Austin Linney as he interviews guests who are constructing their dream lives and impacting the world around them on a daily basis. If you're an entrepreneur or wanting to start a business, or you just want to hear motivating stories of how others have overcome the odds, you are in the right place. And now for your host, Austin Linney.
How's it going, guys? Austin here with your solo episode. Maybe we should call these like the trials and tribulations and adventures of Austin Linney. I don't know. But, something I don't talk about a lot that people keep begging me to talk about more. When I bring it up, they're like, no way. In my late 20s, I started working for a couple bands. I started working in the Texas country scene. So if you're not from Texas, so there is country, so there's country, right? Country music, and then there's Texas country music. Well, what's Texas country music? Well, Texas country music is like its own subgenre of like songwriters, Americana, that plays music, right? And I was working at a restaurant, and I ran into this girl that worked for us. There was a songwriter up there who had written 5 number one hits who played every Sunday. We became friends. There was this young kid. He was like 20, 21 at the time. And she was like, he can sing and he can write and he's really good. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And he went up and just blew our doors off with original music. And I was like, oh, my God, you're like wildly talented. And I went on the road with him. And he was like, hey, if you want to come, like we would need somebody to help organize us. You can be the road manager, blah, 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 blah. So I went on the road with him, and like we played with like Joe Diffie, Pat Green, Randy Rogers, Eli Young. If you don't know country music, you're like, I have no idea. But these are good artists, and so I just kind of took off. So I would work during the week, and on the weekends I would jump in the van. They had a old airport shuttle bus. We played in El Paso a lot of the times, and we played in West Texas and all around, and it was wild, man. It was pure anarchy. It was crazy. We drank a ton, and we had a blast. And it was crazy to be a part of somebody's career when they're just getting started. There's another band that I helped out a little bit, who's a friend, became a friend, who's just sold out Red Rocks in an hour, right? And there's a hype video of UT, and so it's so crazy to see these guys back in the day, become something bigger, and they really, put 15 years in. But like, what you need to know about me is like my family from a time I was a little kid, my mom's side of the family, everybody plays an instrument and everybody sings. I'm obsessed with music. I think music is my poetry. I think it's the way I express myself. It really elevates or, puts me in the right mood, the mindset. Like for me, music is super important. Tried to play guitar as a kid, didn't have the patience, tried to do other stuff, really never got around to it, but just loved the music business. It was always a passion of mine, and to be able to work in it was insane. And when I worked for those two bands, my after about a year, my time kind of was done with them. I was done with the music business per se. I was out at a concert on a Wednesday night, summer series, and there was a gentleman there, and we were drinking tequila, and we got to talking, and he said, what have you been doing? I go, I bartend, and I do this, and I used to work for these guys. He's like, yeah, I know those guys. And long story short, it was a band called Honey Brown, and Honey Brown started, 15 years ago, and they were super popular. Back in the day, had some number one songs, kind of just playing music now all around the country. Not crazy crowds, but just had a name and people knew who they were. And he said, well, if you're not doing anything tomorrow, you want to come with me to the show. So we go, I hop in with him. It's just an acoustic show. We go and we play with Jack Ingram, and it's crazy and it's awesome. And he said, look, why don't you come to the show tomorrow and you can start working for us, and this is what you're going to get paid, and blah, blah, blah. Well, that show was at Green Hall. Well, if you don't know Green Hall is the oldest dance hall in Texas, down in New Braunfels. I'm gonna say it wrong, New Braunfels, Texas, which is my favorite venue. Still takes cash. The floors are like warped. It's just amazing. Sits on the river. Just it's like the best like experience to listen to music. And says, look, you're gonna sell merch. You're gonna help us get ready. So we double sold the show out. We sold so much merch. It was just we had such a good time. There was like 7 bachelorette parties there. It was crazy. His parents this is a grown man. We still laugh at this to the day, 47-year-old man. His parents had to drive us home because we had too good of a time, if you know what I mean. The bus had to stay there, living that true, music industry lifestyle. But man, I was hooked. And for the next, year and a half, 2 years, I flew to Chicago. We played in front of sold-out shows. We played in front of 10 to 12,000 people, pardon me, at a Gator Fest. So many great things, right? And it was wild, man. It was, there's things that you do in your life that you don't ever think you have an opportunity to do it. And then you do it, and you're like, man, this is even better than I thought. Like, that was the thing. I have such a fond memory of those times. I mean, now, don't get me wrong. It didn't help when I wanted to stop drinking, and maybe it was time to move on. But there is nothing better, right? Don't get me wrong. I'll be frank. It's super boring during the day. You're driving for like 8 hours. There's nothing to do. You do sound check, then you go, and you're not ready till night. So it's a different lifestyle altogether. But to meet the fans of the lives, the songs that had changed, and to meet the people on the road, and to party with the guys and hang out with other guys that I looked up to, like, it really was this moment in time that really, shaped who I am. And made me into the man I am today. I tell this story all the time. We played with Eli Young the night before Crazy Girl came out, and he said to us that Lee Bryce wrote the song, and Lee Bryce's label wouldn't let him cut it, and he gave it to him and said, make this a #1 hit, and he goes, this is going to change our life, and then the next morning it comes out and it goes to #1. So I was with Eli Young band the night before it happened. So this is one of my favorite bands of all time for me. It was amazing. There's so many stories like that of just an opportunity where it's one of those things where you had to say yes. You had to say yes because you're never gonna get that opportunity like that ever again in your life. It's something that I still love. I'm too old, nor do I want to be traipsing the country around with a band. It's a hard life. There's a lot of downtime. There's a lot of alcoholism in the business. The business is getting harder, so I respect anybody that does it. But man, I just have such fond memories of it. We flew to Chicago, played a cold out show. There's so many great times. I've seen every little dance hall in Texas. I just wanted to share that part of my life with you. I rarely talk about it, but man, it was a great time. So I hope everybody enjoyed a little peek into my past life, and I hope everybody sees us next time. Guys, let me take a minute to tell you about my buddies over at Lead Hub, Ben and Aaron, the best humans I know. Not only are they amazing at marketing for trade companies, but Ben started his HVAC company in his garage, sold it for multi-million-dollars. So when this guy talks, I listen. When we took over Dietz Mechanical, we had 22 reviews in 22 years. In 7 short months, we went from 22 reviews to 107. We went from a 4.2 to a 4.7. We tripled our Facebook presence, and we tripled our calls. If you're an HVAC, plumbing, electric, landscaping company, and you're looking for a no BS approach to marketing, you're looking for people who have done it before, you got to go to leadhub.net